Now at 10, an old Joplin elementary school is torn down to prepare for the future. We'll show you the demolition. Plus, area kids put their farming skills on display at the Jasper County Youth Fair, and
they were just trying to have some innocent fun. They just weren't sure. They weren't aware of the dangers that were lurking.
2 Oklahoma boys drown. A firefighter stresses the importance of water safety.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
As the beginning of the school year gets closer, districts in the area gear up, and hiring teachers is an essential part of the process. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. In Carl Junction, 39 new teachers are already hired and 2 other positions are still open. The new hires went through a training last month and will go back to school 2 weeks before the students.
I graduated from there, and it's always just been a dream to come back and work from the place I graduated from. I always loved the teachers. They have such a great work ethic there, and so I wanted to be a part of that growth and how it all is there.
Across this state, people are seeing that there's a need for quality educators. Fortunately, I think we've been very fortunate in that we've had quality applicants to fill all of our positions.
The hiring process for Carl Junction schools started at the beginning of last semester. In total, Carl Junction schools have about 400 teachers who serve more than 3,200 students. Out with the old and in with the new. Demolition is underway on Joplin's Columbia Elementary School. Columbia and West Central students combined to start classes in the new Dover Hill Elementary, which opened in January. Now, back in May, former students had the chance to take one last walk through Columbia Elementary and reminisce. You can see more of the demolition and read about the history of Columbia Elementary on the KOAM News Now app. Some area middle school students dipped their toes into some science lessons. Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School is hosting their Summer Discovery Academy. It includes biology lessons such as looking at bees, also a robotics class. The Summer Academy gives these kids an opportunity to get a sort of jump start to the new school year, and today wasn't all inside the classroom.
And by far, biology is probably my favorite because we just go out and we explore the coolest places. Like we've been to Shawnee Trail. Today we're going to some woods. We've been to Turkey Creek. Like, it's so much fun. It really is. So it's just a lot of fun.
Some pre-K and kindergarten kids got in on the fun too. They went to a Young Scholars Academy and a Studio Art Academy, among other things. Yeah, clap your hands, jump up and down. That sounds like a lot of fun. The Summer Discovery Academy continues through Friday. It's going to be hot out there for any outdoor activities. Meteorologist Sam Lane.
That's right, Dow. It's going to be hot tomorrow. In fact, we're under an alert day for tomorrow. Heat advisories in effect for Southwest Missouri. That goes until tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Northwest Arkansas and Oklahoma, it goes until 8 p.m. Southeastern Kansas until 9 p.m. And then an excessive heat warning for Tulsa, Rogers, and Mays counties. So it's going to be definitely hot tomorrow with heat indexes well over 110, but not tonight. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 70s all the way down to about 74 by tomorrow morning. And the UV index tomorrow is going to be extreme, 11 on the scale, which means burn time could be 10 minutes or less. So definitely have your hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and be sure to find the shade if at all possible. Looking down the lane, we do have the alert day tomorrow because of the heat. Then we also have a chance of some severe storms, and I'll tell you more about that, as well as maybe a little bit of drought relief, and then back to the warm trend as we go into the forecast. And of course, I'll have all the details in just a bit.
Catch you in a few. Kids in Jasper County today got to show off their agriculture projects. It was the first day of the county's youth fair. Today's events included a horse and mule show, farm mechanics exhibits, and not one but 2 rabbit shows, one for big rabbits and one for small ones. And there's a lot more to rabbits than meets the eye.
To show them in breeds. There are several different breeds, just like dogs. They come in different breeds, different sizes, different classes. They'll show by breed and by class, and there's small ones and big ones, but we're looking for their teeth being the same size. We're looking for their toenails to be all the same color. We do ask the kids whether they are male or female. They have to know how to check those things.
The youth fair is going to run through Saturday. Folks in Carl Junction are celebrating today. It's the second Tuesday of the month, so the Carl Junction Chamber hosted a party in the park. Featured games, music, vendors, and food trucks. And since it's the dog days of summer, people were encouraged to bring their furry friends. There's one more second Tuesday to look forward to.
Next month is the Great Outdoors, and it is on Tuesday, August 8th. It's our last one. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to have a new kids game. So bounce houses are all obviously here, but we'll also have another kids game to do. We're going out with a bang next month.
The second Tuesday is at Memorial Park. The auction for the historic Reddings Mill Inn, it's been postponed. It was originally scheduled for today. Public will still have a chance to own a piece of history. The auction is going to include several pieces of furniture and appliances in addition to this beautiful historic building. It's rescheduled, the auction is, for July 18th at 10 a.m. at the Newton County Courthouse in Neosho. This is not exactly a garage sale because it isn't exactly a sale. The Bright Futures organization is conducting its annual Garage Free in Carthage. It provides a lot of clothes, shoes, coats, and other miscellaneous things, all free of charge to anyone who needs them.
Every year we are given an abundance amount of amazing things. And in order to get more amazing things every school year, we have to get rid of what we have. So the best way to do that is to clear it out, to make room for new stuff. So we just want to make sure that if we're being provided with items, that the community is getting those items.
The Garage Free event is at 8th and Grant in Carthage. It resumes tomorrow and Thursday. It runs from 9 to 11 a.m. and 1 to 3 p.m. each day. Sports Director John Dales joins us now with a first look at the sports.
Dow, thanks. Coming up in sports, former standout for the Crowder Rough Riders. Here's his name called today during the MLB draft. Plus, the Joplin Outlaws enter this evening with a 2-game lead on the rest of the Mink League South. Tonight they host the Jeff City Renegades and look to get some more breathing room atop the division. More on those stories coming up later in the show.
John, thanks. The Joplin Police Department welcomed 2 new members to their team. They're a couple of dogs named Vice and Koa. The dogs' handlers gave live demonstrations to show how they're going to be used. Those demonstrations included apprehensions and narcotics searches. Dogs are also trained in building clearing, tracking, and obedience, an important thing for the canines to learn how to properly bite.
You don't want them letting go of a bite and re-biting over and over again. So we want them to keep strong on that single bite, that first bite. So that's what he was doing there. They shouldn't show that someone fighting them shouldn't really affect them based on how we train. So that's what he's doing there. It doesn't really affect him if someone's fighting him. He's gonna keep that bite.
The canines underwent a 6-week training process before being certified for police work. The dogs and their handlers will continue to train every week in order to maintain their skills. Still ahead, a water tragedy near Oklahoma City leaves 2 children dead. Plus, Prime Day, what you can do to protect your packages from porch pirates. Prime Day has kicked off today, offering tons of deals for consumers. A lot of people are shopping online and expecting packages to arrive on their porches. And of course, porch pirates are going to be on the lookout for your deliveries too. There are several ways you can shop safely online. First, make sure you use a credit card because it's easier to dispute fraudulent charges. You should also stick with familiar retailers and avoid clicking on store links and emails. And make sure your package doesn't sit unattended. As an official with the Springfield, Missouri Police Department says, turn to someone you can trust to make sure your packages are safe.
If you're not at home all day, see if you can have a neighbor stop by, grab your packages when they arrive if you're having them delivered to your house. If you work in a place where you could have your packages delivered to you at work, where there's someone to receive those packages, that's also a great idea. And if you don't have any of those options, have them delivered to the post office, to a P.O. box. That's, definitely secure.
Also, if you have to have your package delivered to your home, you can give the carrier delivery instructions and ask them to, say, put the package in a hidden spot near your porch. The Georgia grand jury handling potential indictments against former President Donald Trump has been selected and sworn in. And it wasn't one, but 2 grand juries selected to serve in the upcoming term. Mr. Trump is accused of trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in that state. Only one of them will likely face the decision of whether to indict former President Trump. A part of that stems from the now infamous phone call that the former president made to the Georgia Secretary of State right after the 2020 elections, asking him to find the votes to potentially overturn the election in his favor. A special grand jury has already issued a redacted report with charging recommendations. The district attorney indicates that potential indictments in that case could come between July 31st and August 18th. Tonight we're learning more about a tragedy in the water of Lake Overholser in Oklahoma City. It was a story we brought to you last night at 10. The desperate search for 4 boys who went into the water while fishing. 2 of them were rescued from a ledge. 2 others were last seen clinging to a log as it floated down the spillway. Their bodies have now been recovered. Reporter Haley Weger has the latest.
Oklahoma City firefighters were out here at the lake for hours last night working to recover 2 drowning victims. It's a response they train for year-round, but it's a call that never gets easier.
Just a tragic incident.
2 young boys lost their lives to the dangerous waters of Lake Overholser.
They weren't aware of the danger that was in front of them.
Scott Douglas with the Oklahoma City Fire Department says 4 boys were out fishing on the lake celebrating a birthday when 2 of them decided to take a swim.
They were just trying to have some innocent fun. They just weren't sure. They weren't aware of the dangers that were lurking.
One of the boys lost his shoe, so all 4 got in the water to help find it. That's when the 10 and 11-year-olds got swept away by the current.
The turbulent waters pulled them underneath.
2 of the 4 were able to get out of the water, and after an hours-long search, firefighters were able to recover the bodies of the 10 and 11-year-olds.
And he was about 2,800 feet from the dam.
But after hours of searching, this wasn't the outcome anybody was hoping for.
Firefighters don't want to respond to these, we train, we're prepared for these incidents when they do come in.
Year-round, these firefighters are training for the worst-case scenario.
All firefighters are well trained on all the lakes, rivers, streams across the metro.
Many metro lakes don't allow swimming at all.
There's a reason for these signs. There's a reason for these areas that are not supposed to be swam in because they're dangerous.
And with recent storms, you never know what could have landed in the water.
A lot of times these waters rise, they grab glass, metal, power lines.
And making sure you're doing what you can to stay out of harm's way.
But no firefighter wants to see this tragic event happen.
Douglas says if you're swimming this summer, make sure you're wearing a life jacket and that you're never in the water alone. He says the safest option after storms, stay out of rivers, streams, or lakes altogether. A little later, the Joplin Outlaws look to keep their lead in the Mink League against the Jeff City Renegades. Highlights in sports.
We're tracking the heat as also we're tracking the threat of severe thunderstorms for tomorrow. I'll have all the hot details when we come back. The last few mornings have been actually kind of comfortable around here with lower dew points, including this morning down in Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. As we start the day, we're going to be looking at mostly fair conditions as we headed through the afternoon. Let's go to that if we can. There we go. And as we go through the afternoon, you can see that the sun came out and things started to heat up really quickly, and those clouds started to move away. And let's take a look at this afternoon. We saw some cumulus clouds coming in, and then the sun went down and things started to go away, and now we're left with just mostly fair conditions. All right, let's take a look and show you what we can see for the high today. It was 95 degrees after starting out at 71. The averages are 90 and 70. Of course, we're not anywhere close to those records of 109 or 58, and 9.95 inches behind for the year. Temperatures right now are in the 70s and a few 80s showing up as well with southeasterly winds. And as we go through tomorrow, we're going to see those dew points increasing. Right now they are in the 60s and lower 70s across the area, so it's definitely feeling more muggy out there. 75 in Grove, 67, one of the lower readings up in Fort Scott. But when you factor those two things in tomorrow, it's going to feel like it's in the mid 110s across the area. Check out Nowata, 118, that's just disgusting. 116 in Parsons, 114 in Iola. This is what it's going to feel like tomorrow. And 113 even in Joplin. Then as we go into Thursday, the heat continues with heat indexes still close to 105, 106 in the metro, and over 110 down in Oklahoma. The good news is the rain chances are going to be increasing as we go through the next 36 hours. It's kind of a double-sided coin though. We get rain relief, but also adds to the humidity, which increases the heat index. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. Also, we have to worry about the threat of severe weather tomorrow, especially up towards the north. There is a risk of some tornado activity. We'll keep an eye on that. But I think the biggest threat is going to be the large hail, high winds, and certainly some heavy rain in some isolated spots. In fact, some of the computer models are forecasting some places could get close to 3 inches in isolated spots, but other areas not so much, generally on the drier side. And even the European model is not as aggressive with the rainfall. So hopefully we'll get some rain out of this system as it comes through tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Lows tonight are going to be in the 70s across the area. Then as we head through tomorrow afternoon, here comes the heat. Temperatures close to 100, and then the storms will develop to the north and will start to sail south, and then those will move out, and then we'll be left with mostly fair skies with lows in the 70s on Thursday morning. But then as we head through Thursday afternoon, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-90s, and then in the afternoon and evening, here comes another wave with storms as we go into Friday morning with lows in the 70s. How about the next 7 days? Well, tomorrow's an alert day with a high of 100 and a chance of severe thunderstorms late tomorrow evening into Thursday, and then maybe another alert day on Thursday, but then more storms on Saturday and Sunday with temperatures in the 80s, and then it gets hot again, Dow, as we head towards the latter part of next week. So it is typical July.
At least there is the prospect for some rain in the area. Let's hope a lot of us get plenty of it.
Hope so.
Thanks, Sam. Catastrophic flooding is impacting communities across Vermont. State and local officials say the worst flooding in nearly 100 years has caused tens of millions of dollars in damage there. It's destroyed homes and cars. It's been washing away roads and railroad tracks. John Dale's here now. It's been a busy final day of the MLB draft.
Yeah, it certainly has. 10 rounds of new names for the Cardinals and Royals fans to get used to. And the Outlaws look to stretch their lead atop the South Division in a battle against Jeff City. Those sports stories and more right after the break. A year ago, you may not have realized it, but there were 2 major league caliber pitchers competing for one of the local colleges. And no, that's not Pitt State, not Missouri Southern either. Crowder College had the duo of Jacob Mizorowski and Cody Adcock. Now, Mizorowski already got drafted last year by the Brewers, but today, Adcock hears his name get called by the Reds, who select him in the 13th round of this year's MLB draft. He started 14 games for the Rough Riders a year ago, posting a 4-2 record and striking out 81 in 67 innings pitched. Now, Rough Rider fans didn't get the chance to see Adcock this year. He transferred to Arkansas after the completion of the 2022 season, and he stepped his game up there, even while moving into a primary bullpen role. And Crowder Baseball's history of success stretches beyond just the past couple seasons. In the last decade, the Rough Riders have now had 9 players get drafted. Outlaws back at home this evening and can get comfortable there because they play all 7 of their next 7 games at Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin. More importantly, though, tonight, the Outlaws holding on to a slim lead in first place in the Mink League South. Second place, Jeff City is in town. Outlaws got started on the right foot, bottom 1 before a lot of fans, myself included, could even get into their seats. Colton Reynolds hit a grand slam. That put Joplin up 4-0 immediately. Outlaws would add 1 more, but Jeff City gets out of the inning with this nice diving catch at second. Joplin starter Sullivan Lane in a groove early. He gets the strikeout there in the second, allows a single in the third, and Jeff City looked like it might have had a little something going, but keeps it a 5-0 game with this strikeout to end the inning. More Outlaws offense after that, bottom 3. First, Nixon Brannon really gets into one in center field. That's going to drop down and bounce over this fence for a ground rule double. Next batter is Colton Reynolds. He also hits a double to right field. Questionable whether the fielder would get to this one, though, so that kept Brannon over at third. He doesn't score. And a strikeout eventually ends the threat for Joplin. Jeff City's Connor Pauley really fired up. Lane got another strikeout in the 4th. Renegades would get back into it later. Outlaws rally, though, score 3 in the 9th, and they walk off as winners. Not the only Mink League game in the 4 states tonight, though. Up about an hour north, Nevada Griffins back at home this evening, playing host to the Clarinda A's following their loss to the Outlaws last night. Griffins not able to get it done tonight at home, though. The A's scored 2 in the second inning. They had on 2 more in the third, then an insurance run in the fourth, all before Nevada even got on the board. By the time they got on the scoreboard, too little too late. Last meeting of the season between these teams, though. Tough opponent. Clorinda has a better win-loss record than the entire South Division. So things don't work out for Nevada, but Outlaws red hot right now, playing better than anybody else in the league.
With a walk-off at that.
Exactly, yeah.
We'll be right back. Yeah, a lot of people in the world love cheese, but really, honestly, how much cheese is too much cheese? Really? Burger King in Thailand has introduced this new item they call the real cheeseburger. I guess it's a burger, but no, it has no meat. Just 20 slices of American cheese. If you're lactose intolerant, you might want to stay away from this one. The real cheeseburger costs about $11 US. What's with the formality of putting it on a bun? Just buy a wedge of cheese. It's the same thing. Get $11 worth of cheese and just eat that.
There you go.
Okay, it's gonna be hot out there.
That's right. It's gonna be hot enough to melt cheese, that's for sure, with a high temperature of 100. Alert day in effect. Storms likely tomorrow night. Some of those could be severe. We'll keep an eye on that for you. And then 97 on Thursday, and cooler, if you want to call upper 80s cooler, on the weekend.
Final sports notes.
Yeah, like I said, big win for the Outlaws again tonight. They're playing as good a baseball as anybody else is in the league, and you got plenty more chances to see them. They're home for the next week plus.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of more of those bunnies at the Jasper County Youth Fair. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.